Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you've never been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you have been here before. So it's been a few weeks, I believe, since I last posted. I've been working on what I want to create. So I do want to ask if there's anything that you want to see more of, less of, if something completely new that you want to see on the channel, please let me know in the comment section. I've also been updating my Etsy with more listings as well as the website, which has some decks, some books, some jewelry, crystal jewelry on their necklaces. So be sure to check those out. They will be linked in the description box below. But today we are going to be doing a pick a card reading on spring cleaning. And we're going to be taking a look at what beliefs are ready to be released at this time. What is ready to be released? What is ready to be let go of? What are you ready to move on from? We're going into spring, at least as I'm filming this. It is timeless, but as I'm filming this, we're getting closer and closer to spring. It's a beautiful day here today, very sunny. It's getting warmer. So let's take a look at some spring cleaning. What are you ready to release? So take a few minutes to ground center yourself, pause the video if you need to, and ask yourself which pile or piles has a message for you. We have pile number 1 with this Agate Moon here, pile number 2 with the Selenite sphere, and pile number 3 with the Obsidian Snake. So again, take a few seconds, minutes to pause the video if you need to, but let's jump right into the reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Agate Moon there with that beautiful druzy in the middle. I'm going to place that right there. So we are taking a look at what is ready to be released, some spring cleaning. What beliefs should you or are you able to let go of at this time? So let's start with the tarot cards. And first card we have is Six of Pentacles, the Star, very interesting so far, and Two of Cups. All right, so for my pile number 1s, what's ready to be released? What belief are you ready to let go of as you move forward and as you move towards the next season, if you will, metaphorically and physically speaking? So pile number 1, first thing that's coming in is we have the Six of Pentacles and we have the Two of Cups, and they're kind of flanking this Star card here, which is in the middle. So for my pile number 1s, there's this need here to bring in more balance in your beliefs. Be a little bit careful with extremes for my pile number 1s. You may be someone, and you did pick the moon, and the moon, we did pick this Agate Moon here, and the moon does have to do with feelings and, strong feelings, if you will. When we think about the moon, we're talking about illusions, feelings, extremes sometimes. It's very changeable, the moon. So for my pile number 1s, there's almost a need here to look at your beliefs, especially when it comes to extremes. How can you be more balanced in your approach, especially when it comes to your approach to healing and your approach to the things that you want to manifest in this world? Because the Star is ultimately a card of, hope. It's a card of having faith, of, the wishes that we put out there, the things that we want to accomplish. And the Six of Pentacles is saying, again, a more balanced approach where it's not all or nothing, where you are able to give and receive, where you are able to be in a place where there's more harmony, more balance within. Two of Cups speaks to kind of connection, soulmates, the things that we love. So again, how can you be more balanced in your approach to your healing and in your approach to the things that you want to create? So for my pile number 1s, there's a belief system here of extremes. So you could be someone that only takes into consideration worst case scenario. On the other hand, you could be someone who takes into consideration only, positivity. You may have trouble when it comes to acknowledging that there is a middle ground, that things don't have to be white or black or, hot or cold. There are varying degrees in between that need to be taken into consideration. So, for my pile number ones, what you are being invited to do is to let go of extremes and welcome in a more balanced approach, a more middle of the line approach, if you will, and avoid. I keep getting this avoid extremes. My pile number ones, there's also a message coming in here around a belief as to what is possible and what is not possible, what you can create and what you cannot create. For some of you, there's a belief that you have to do things on your own, that in order for something to manifest for you, you have to make it happen on your own, that you cannot get help from anyone else. And that is also not true. For some of you, your biggest help is going to be spirit. It's going to be that collaboration with your spirit guides, with manifesting, with, higher self, source, whatever it is that you believe in. But understanding that you are not alone and you don't have to do things alone. You don't have to make things happen on your own. For some of you, also understanding that there are people that can help you. This is especially true if you're trying to manifest a business idea, some sort of creative project. For some of you, there may be a collaboration that can help you in some way. For some of my pile number ones, you are the doer. You are constantly doing, you are constantly taking on responsibilities, and you're not someone who's willing to delegate or work with others because you feel like you need to do it. It's almost like in order for it to be done right, I need to take care of it myself. So for some of you, you are being invited to take a step back from that way of thinking and being more open to connection. This also applies for my pile number ones in your personal relationships, in your connections, even with coworkers, understanding that there is space and and time for collaboration to take place. Again, not only in your professional life, but in your personal life as well, where you can allow people to help you and you can allow yourself to ask for help as you need it. There is no shame in asking for help. Pile number one, and that's coming in very strongly for you. Let's take a look at what else we have. So we have decision, communicate, yeah. And then we have expectation. Pile number one, make sure that you are communicating clearly. Make sure that you're not afraid, moving forward. One thing that you're being asked to perhaps consider changing is how you communicate and how you connect with others. It's one thing to make your choices, because I feel like my pile number ones, you can be very good at making decisions. You can be very good at putting in the hard work, at manifesting the things that you want. I feel like you start to struggle when it comes to relying on other people to help you or to be there for you, or trusting other people. Some of you have very high standards for yourself and for others. And because of that, it's kind of what I was getting earlier, where in order for something to be done right, quote unquote, right? I have to do it myself. So I take on more than I should from time to time. For some of you, also being open to receiving new information and using that information to perhaps change your mind from time to time is coming in as important. But communication, where you are speaking up and you are telling others how you feel. For this pile, connections in general coming in. Connections in career, connections in your personal life, romance, all of that. Friendships, family relationships. My pile number ones, be mindful of how much expectation and the high standards that you hold yourself to. It's good to have high standards. It's good to have a standard for yourself and for others, but don't be so rigid that you paralyze yourself and your progress. or don't be so rigid that you cannot accept that people will make mistakes, or that you cannot accept help because of they may mess it up, or they may do something that's not to your liking. For this pile, it feels like it's more about you learning to flow a little bit better, Let's see what we have as far as numerology, health, and then we have spiritual career. So for some of you, you could be embarking on a spiritual career. For others of you, I think spirituality is very important in your career, whether you are in a spiritual career or not. I feel spirituality is very important in your career, meaning that you having a spiritual practice, you being able to, sometimes when we say surrender, right? Give it over to spirit, give it over to a higher power, let it go, allow yourself to kind of, meditate, do whatever spiritual practice you need to do so that you can function better and that you can release some stress is very important. So even if you are not in a spiritual career per se, where you may be like a tarot reader, a Reiki practitioner, a spiritual teacher, a spiritual coach, there is a need for this pile to have some sort of practice and some sort of spirituality so that you can help yourself as you move through your day-to-day life. That's coming in very loudly, as well as it can help you with your health, because I do feel my pile number ones, you are very demanding on yourself. It feels very type A, a lot of expectations on self, a lot of pressure on self, a lot of, high standards for self, perfectionism. For some of you, procrastination, because procrastination is just kind of a byproduct of perfectionism, where if I procrastinate, I may not have to face the fact that, I'm not going to do this perfectly. But for this pile, working with your beliefs so that you can be more balanced is very important, and having some sort of spiritual practice, spiritual belief, something to fall back on so that it doesn't affect your health. I feel like for my pile number ones, for some of you, your health, sometimes your energy takes a hit, and it's because of how much you do and how much pressure you put on yourself. For some of you, you could be a Virgo sun, moon, or rising. Virgo moon standing out strongly to me, so you can be a Virgo moon. At the very least, again, a lot of high standards, a lot of perfectionism, a lot of even procrastination for this pile for some of you. Let's take a look at the power of surrender and see what we have here. Pile number one, surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. And we do have the Two of Cups. So for some of you, this is about opening up and allowing people in. And if that's the case, it's about you making the decision to open up. It's about you communicating clearly, effectively with the people that you want to connect with, or that you are willing to connect with. And having standards, but again, don't have standards that are so rigid that they will never be met. And surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Pile number one, for some of you, again, bringing yourself back to balance, taking care of your health, being careful with how much pressure you put on yourself. That keeps coming in. And with the fear of intimacy, it kind of goes back to trusting. Because I feel like for this pile, it's not only just romance, because I think this card kind of represents romance, but it's about all intimacy. Even when we are working with coworkers, there's a certain level of intimacy that needs to happen there if we are to trust and work with them. When we are working, when we are with our family, with our friends, there has to be a level of intimacy where that person can see us as vulnerable and we can see them and be there and allow ourselves to be seen. Confidence, it comes with time and practice. So for some of you, gaining more confidence in who you are and working on your confidence. And again, it does come with time and practice. It's not something that you're going to decide, I'm going to be more confident tomorrow and that's it. It's done and you are the most confident person in the world. But for this pile, a lot of that self-criticism, a lot of that perfectionism, a lot of that, I even want to say judgment of self. And I do think this pile can be a little bit critical of others at times as well, has to do with some self-confidence issues and wanting to be good enough or wanting to do things right. I keep getting that. Getting things done right keeps coming in. Sun, paint the sun back into your sky. Absolutely, pile number one. So this is about you bringing in more balance for yourself, more love for yourself, and deciding what do you want to bring into this life, right? Painting back the sun back in your own sky. Because for some of you, life has become very gray. It's all about work. It's all about responsibilities. It's all about meeting certain expectations. Like, even if you are an artist, pile number one, you are putting so much pressure on yourself that you are completely blocked. That's coming in strongly. So sitting with yourself, for some of you, working with your roots, your sacral and solar plexus chakras would be very helpful. I'm seeing sunflowers, so if you can get your hands on some sunflowers and have them in your home or in your workspace, that may help. As well as citrine. See what goddess we have here. Danu with spiritual learning ascension. Absolutely. There's also a lot of purpley, like pinkish purpley tones to this reading. So many of you have a very active crown and third eye. And sometimes that's actually turning into overthinking, anxiety, worrying, even depression for some of you. But you're very spiritual. I will say for many of my pile number ones, having some sort of creative outlet would be very helpful. Whether that is painting, drawing, writing, music, something. Something where you can express yourself creatively. Some of you have a lot of 12th house action and 6th house action in your natal chart as well. Let's see what we have here. Imagination. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. So you can say this as an affirmation if you feel like it. Imagination now sets me free. Divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. It's very interesting. I promise I don't see the cards before you do, but I am getting that very creative energy. Look at that purple again. It's everywhere. Some of you need to work with the root, sacral, solar plexus. Because your crown and your third eye are so active, you need to ground it. Some of you have a lot of ideas, but you kind of struggle with the doing. Again, procrastination, getting to do something, trusting others, being more balanced, being open to collaboration, even if it's collaboration with spirit. Because that's a collaboration. You being able to ask your guides for help, your angels, your, universe, higher self, whatever it is that you believe in, that's a collaboration. And I just noticed, that we had confidence here, and we have, I believe that's a lioness there, which is all about confidence. For some of you, it's about finding your power, expressing your power. And you can do that through creativity, pile number one. Let's see what self-care my pile number ones need at this time. Build strength. So I'm kind of getting two messages with this. Look at the third eye. Look at the third eye. So for me, when I see this build strength, I always think of confidence, right? Because sometimes when we work with our body, we actually end up building up our own confidence. But with build strength here and her third eye being so pronounced, so open, so obvious, which almost doesn't make sense, right? Because it's a card about building strength, and it appears to be a physical strength, but her third eye is there. This to me is confirming the earlier message that my pile number ones, you have the imagination, you have the ideas, you have the creativity. It's about you grounding that in some way. For some of my pile number ones, and obviously check in with your medical provider before starting an exercise routine, but some form of cardio could be very helpful for you because you need to get out of your mind and you need to let that excess energy out. Some of you have a Mars in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, so a fire Mars in Aries is definitely coming in strongly, where you need to work out that energy. Some of you could be a Libra rising. Some of you have Aquarius very strongly in your chart as well. So pile number one, work with the goddess Danu if you feel called to. Work with your imagination, your creativity, build some strength, not only physically, but confidence. And as you work some of this restless energy out, some of this anxiety out physically, I feel like you're going to be able to take more action and kind of get more creative. And it's almost like taking control of your life. Some of you could be a life path number 11, 7, 8, or 3. Take that as it resonates. Life path number 5 as well. All right, pile number one, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to share the video if you want to. That would actually help me out quite a bit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you like the video. And let me know what else you'd like to see on the channel. I am sending you so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Selenite here. I called it a sphere, but I don't think it's necessarily a sphere. It's like a palm stone. But anyways, the Selenite, as a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And we are going to be taking a look at, we're going to do some spring cleaning. What's ready to go out? I kind of named this after beliefs, but we'll see what comes up. But what's ready to go out? Knight of Pentacles. The Fool. Okay, pile number 2. You guys are my thinkers. You're careful. You're not very spontaneous, are you? Let's see what else we have. I'm already feeling Ace of Swords. Yeah. You guys are my thinkers. You guys are kind of my planners. That's the word. You are my planners, pile number 2. You like to plan things out. You like to make sure that your plans are on point before you take a step, and that's a great thing. But for some of you, you're a bit overly cautious. You're a bit, it's almost to the point where you get so scared that you wait so long that you miss some opportunities. I feel like for some of you, you may be saying, yeah, that happens. And some of that has to do with fear. Some of that has to do with fear of doing the wrong thing or going down the wrong path. Some of my pile number 2s are constantly looking for confirmation. So you may come to readings like this one, or you may go book a reading every so often, or you may go check in with your own cards, and you may be asking yourself, am I on the right path? And that's a very good thing to ask, right? It's good to know, to ask, am I on the right path? But what happens, pile number 2, is that sometimes it's not necessarily about being on the right path as much as it's about being on a path, if you will. Taking chances, going, taking a leap of faith with that Fool there. Because I feel like what's coming in that is ready to be released for my pile number 2 is stagnancy. It's this energy of overthinking to the point where you're kind of frozen in place. Analysis paralysis, if you will. For some of you, you are seeking clarity. You are seeking understanding of something. But the truth is, it's not going to reveal itself to you until you take a step. So it's almost that energy of, I am up here and I want to get all the way down there, but I don't want to start to walk down them stairs, right? Or I want to know what's down there, but I want to stay up on this cliff up here. And the message coming in for my pile number twos is that it's time to be a little bit more adventurous and spontaneous. It's time to let go of the overthinking. And again, this doesn't mean that you're going to be reckless. We're not going to be reckless, but instead of trying to plan everything out to the point where you need to know from A to B to B to C to C to D, D to E, this is how I'm going to do it. How can you take one step at a time and understand that it's going to unfold naturally and that you can trust yourself? For my pile number two, this is a trust thing that's coming in for me, where Spirit is saying we need you to trust yourself more. We need you to realize that you are protected, and you did choose Selenite, and Selenite is a very cleansing and protecting stone. And in the Fool there, she appears to be holding up amethyst, which is all about anxiety. So I feel like my pile number twos, you deal with, some fear, some anxiety that comes up, especially when it's time to go on adventure. For some of you, you want to travel. You want to step out of your comfort zone. You want to go and try something new. Whether that is, travel where you're leaving the country, travel where you're leaving your city, your state. Or whether that is, I want to try this new hobby. I want to go out there and date people. I want to go and do some things. And again, I know what's happening in the world as this is being recorded, but we also have to find a way to safely live our lives, right? So for my pile number twos, there's an invitation here saying, as far as beliefs, as far as what is ready to be released, it's this overly cautious way of living. Because for some of you, you are so stuck in autopilot that you are now stagnant. And your soul is ready for more. And the clarity that you are seeking, pile number two, the answers that you are seeking, the answers that you are racking your brain over, they're going to come as you go on the journey. They're going to come as the journey unfolds. There is no way for you to know every single answer that you seek until you start on the journey. Let's see what else we have here, because this is very interesting so far. Desire. Yeah, this is about you connecting to your inspiration, to what it is that you desire. Clarity. I don't look at these cards before you do, but look at that. What's interesting is in this deck, clarity is represented by this moon. For some of you, you may have been drawn to pile number one. If that was the case, you may want to check it out, only if you were already interested in it. But with clarity here, it's the moon, because typically when we are seeking clarity, there's some sort of spiral. There's some sort of, darkness that we cannot see clearly. And with desire there, again, that energy of what is it that you want? What inspires you? And if you're watching this and you're saying, listen, I don't know. I don't know what inspires me. I don't know what I want to do. Then this is an invitation to try new things, to go on adventures until you figure out what that is, until you find that thing that's going to spark you back to life. Kindness. For some of you, I am getting that you may be animal advocates. You may have some pets. You may be very close to animals, spirit animals. There's a connection to animals here. But kindness, also being kind to yourself as you move through this, because, it can be scary. There's a lot happening in the world right now that is absolutely terrifying. But ultimately, we have to find a way to still live the life that we have been given. Because life is short, pile number two. And I think that you are ready for more. I think that your soul is calling you to try new things. I absolutely get that for this pile. Let's see what else we have. Nature. Yeah, for some of you, going out into nature. I don't know why. For this pile, I'm really getting travel. Like, I'm really getting that you want to get out there and you want to travel in some way. For my pile number twos, for some of you, work with your throat and your heart chakra. Those two are coming in very strongly for this pile. The throat chakra is about speaking your truth, but part of speaking your truth is knowing what your truth is. So it's about figuring out, again, what inspires you, what gets you going, what do you feel passionate about. And for some of you, you already know what that is. It's just scary to go and do it, or you keep putting it off. And it's time to start to take action on that. Some of you are definitely some sort of advocates, whether it's animals, those less fortunate than you. There's something that you care very deeply about, and some of you are very, very empathic. Financial discipline. So for my pile number 2s, for some of you, this has to do with your finances as well. Some of you need money to do the things that you want to do, and you keep putting it off for that reason. For others of you, you are planners, so you kind of save up your money and you don't want to spend on yourself. You don't want to invest in yourself. It's great to have a rainy day fund. It's not only great, it's necessary, but it's also good to treat yourself and to be kind to yourself. For a few of you, I'm getting a little bit of a message here that there's something that you want to embark on that's actually going to bring you finances. Some of you really getting out into nature and spending time in nature would be very helpful. Let's see what we have. Yeah, let's see what we have with the power of surrender. Surrender to what is, flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation compassionately, accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Some of you like to, my pile number 2, some of you like to wait for conditions to be perfect. It's almost kind of like when some people are like, I'm going to use this example just because I know someone that was recently in this example where they were kind of waiting to have a baby until everything was perfect. They were, they wanted to make sure everything was perfect, and they ended up getting pregnant, and they worked it out. It ended up working out because they made it work. So sometimes it's good to plan things out, but other times we have to accept what is and take action based on what is instead of what we wish it was. Sometimes the circumstances are never going to be perfect, but they can be good enough. Surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident you have chosen the right path. And with the Fool here, you could be someone, and I kind of got this at the beginning, where I said, for some of you, you may come to this type of reading looking for answers, or you may look to other people, or you may book readings, you may look to other people to confirm or to validate your decisions. Part of what you are meant to learn in this lifetime, for my pile number 2s, for many of you, is how to trust yourself. So what you will find is that perhaps you go and ask 4 people, and out of the 4 people, 2 will say yes and 2 will say no. Or you go and ask someone and they give you the answer, the opposite answer than what you were looking for, and you feel that pang of like, oh man, that's not what I wanted to hear. Ultimately, it is your life and it is up to you to make your decisions. As long as you decide, trusting not only your mind, but your heart, right? Kind of finding that balance between mind and heart, intuition and intellect. You can trust yourself to go and take the next step. For some of you, there's something that you want to try, and what's stopping you is finances. So for some of you, this is just coming in. For some of you, it could be like you want to try a new career, you want to go take classes on something, you want to go try a new hobby, and you're kind of thinking of finances, and you're kind of in a place of like, I want to be okay, but it's also you're being called to more, and it's like, how can you work your way around that? Let's see what else we have. Homeward. Take yourself out on a date. Yeah, treat yourself. My pile number 2s, treat yourself. It's good to plan for a rainy day. And I feel like my pile number 2 is for most of you. It's going to be one extreme or the other. I feel like my pile number 2s are either the savers, where you're saving up and you're very responsible, or you're somewhere here where you're kind of just spending and not being very responsible or planning your money. So there's kind of a need to find a middle ground, but for most of you, I feel like you are my planners and you kind of have a very tight control on your finances. Treat yourself. And sometimes to treat yourself, you don't even need to spend a lot of money. Spaceship, don't be afraid to sing. Yeah, don't be afraid to be creative, to be different, to be, to do the things that call to you. For some of you, music, very important. I'm kind of hearing like acoustics for some of you. Some of you could play an instrument, but music, very healing for this pile. Especially nature sounds. Some of you could be seeing 777, a lot of sevens in this pile. And then we have voyage. You already have all the answers. Yeah. For my pile number 2s, this is about you trusting yourself. And once you trust yourself, taking the adventure, going out and doing what you're being called to do. And again, voyage. It's about traveling. Look at all of this. Like, she's opening the door and it's nature out there. And we have nature here. But she's also facing outward. She is going on a voyage. Here are the mermaids, which is all about, adventure. The Fool. The Knight of Pentacles is outside. This is a lot of, like, get out there. Look at this. Yeah, all of these cards are mostly outside or kind of going out to do something. See what we have here. Trust. I do not see these cards before you do, but it says, I am safe, I am secure. In love I trust, my faith endures. Look at that. Surrender to trust and trust. I just noticed that. So for some of you using this as an affirmation, I am safe, I am secure. In love I trust, my faith endures. Some of you, what you're working on, what you need to release is distrust of self. And what you need to work on is trusting yourself more. And the only way you're going to trust yourself more is by doing things that you want to do and trust yourself enough to do them and then say, look, everything is okay. I made the right choice. Let's see what goddess we have here. Fortuna with change, fortune, and outlook. Yeah, some of you are ready to get some clarity, and in order to get that clarity, you're going to have to get some change. They kind of look very similar. There's a lot of fortune, but for some of you, it's about changing the perspective, the outlook. And sometimes to change the outlook, you have to physically go out of your comfort zone. Sometimes taking a long walk and going out there and exploring nature. Changing your routine. If you drive to work and you always take the same path, taking a different path. Shaking up your daily rituals. Doing things, it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't have to backpack through Europe, pile number 2. It can be as simple as changing up your daily routine and doing something different. Let's see what self-care we have here for my pile number 2s. Rest. I really feel like this rest card for my pile number 2s has to do with kind of taking a little bit of a break out of your normal routine and doing things in a different way. For some of you, rest also because you are so worked up of trying to figure things out, trying to stay one step ahead. And it's actually just playing against you because it's causing a lot more anxiety. Some of you just need a good night's sleep. And for me, rest is also saying trusting your intuition. Learning how to, because we have the blindfold there, eyes closed over there. How can you trust your intuition more and connect to your intuition more? Connect to what you know. Some of you are very claircognizant, but the ego is louder than the inner guidance. Remember, claircognizance is usually a whisper. It's usually information that you have as a whisper. So meditation could be very helpful. Resting, setting intentions before you go to sleep can also be very helpful for this pile. For some of you, working with the god Pan is coming in. Take that as it resonates. Bridget as well. Goddess Bridget, God Pan coming in for both of for this pile. All right, pile number 2, that is all I have for you. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you feel like it was worth sharing, please do so. It would help me out a lot. Let me know what else you'd like to see on the channel, and I am sending you so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Obsidian Snake. And we are going to put that right there. As a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. So we are looking at spring cleaning. What beliefs, what needs to go at this time? So let's take a look at what we have. 4 of Swords, Queen of Cups, and 2 of Wands. Okay. This is very interesting. Today's readings have been a little similar. So let's talk about this. So for my pile number 3s, the 4 of Swords is an energy of, she's kind of nesting. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's an energy that is, we see that broken heart there being mended. We see kind of she's being mended. And we see that energy of like just resting. It's a card of meditation, resting, kind of getting oneself back in order after a difficult period. And it's a card that gives permission, right? Permission to slow down, permission to heal, permission to take a break. And it's deep rest. That's why I always like to say it's my nesting card. It's also a card that speaks about kind of burnout. Now, we have the Queen of Cups in the center, and the Queen of Cups is very nurturing, spiritual. She's very intuitive. She's very much connected to intuition. She's connected to the higher realms. She's connected to her feelings. She's very overall spiritual. But then we have that 2 of Wands there, and the 2 of Wands for me is my card of get out of your comfort zone. It's the card of, I am gazing out. I am longingly gazing out, wishing for more, but I'm staying here because this is what I know, and what I know is comfortable. So it's a card that says there's a lot of opportunities out in the world. The world is full of opportunities. The world is full of possibility. Can you plan your future, and can you leave what you know in order to get to where you want to be? So for my pile number 3s, you're being asked, and this kind of makes sense because as I'm recording this, at least on my end of the world, right now, we're in winter, about to head into spring. And I thought of this reading as spring cleaning because it's so beautiful out, right? Spring cleaning our world. And this is kind of saying, can you get yourself back into gear, back into action, back into... And for many of us, the last 2 years, I'm recording this February 2022, the last 2 years have been intense, and we've kind of been in this energy. But my thing with the 4 of Swords is sometimes when we are in this energy of nesting and we spend too long in it, we begin to get burnt out of resting, burnt out of the same. There's a lot of stagnancy here. There's a lot of dreams, a lot of hopes, but there's also a holding back. For some of you, you've been holding yourself back, and I'm getting intuitively, for some of you, you've been holding yourself back because of another person, because of a job. It seems like there's something else holding you back. It's not just you. Some of you, you could be a parent and you have to think about your children, your child. You could have to think about your significant other. You could have to think about a parent. You could have to think about a sibling. There's somebody here, somebody or something here for my pile number 3s. And the message here is what's ready to be released is the healing. And that's going to sound weird. And my attention was focused on that snake for a minute. And it made sense because I was originally not going to pick the snake to put on my pile number 3. But for some reason, intuitively, I said, you know what, let me grab this snake. For some reason, it feels like it should go there. And I don't look at the cards before I do that. For some of you, you have been so focused on healing that you have forgotten that you also need to live. And I say that respectfully. Meaning that you've kind of focused on, I need to heal this, I need to heal that, I need to take care of this before I do that, and the other. And the message coming in for my pile number 3s is, it's time. You can continue to heal, but the truth is, as humans, we're never going to be fully healed. It's time to put yourself back out there to try things. Do not use healing as an excuse as to why you can't do certain things, as to why you need to hold back or wait. That's what's coming in very loudly, very clearly for me for this pile. Let's take a look at what else we have here. So we have pile number 3. I do not see these cards. I promise you, I shuffle them and I don't see them, but yeah. That makes sense why that snake wanted to be on this pile. This was the stone that I originally had for this pile. It was my Selenite. That's how close it is, because that's the stone that was supposed to be on this pile, and that snake wanted to get on top of it. For some of you, you have a snake as a spirit animal, or you should be working with a snake at this time. The Morrigan coming in for someone here as well. So, pile number 3. Healing is great. It's part of the process. It's great that you want to heal, but you should not use healing as an excuse. And I may not be wording that correctly, but you should not hide behind the fact that you still have things to heal or work on in order to not live your life any longer. You are being asked to re-engage yourself in your life. Truth. Can you be honest with yourself? Heart and throat chakra coming in strongly, as well as root and sacral and vibration. For some of you, it's time for a vibration check. It's time to re-engage yourself. It's time to kind of spark yourself back. Some of you have kind of gone into this energy where everything has to be hard work and everything has to be kind of examined and looked at and healed. There are certain things that are okay being left alone. And I don't want anyone in the comments yelling at me, because you know what you need to do, but not everything needs to be dissected, pile number 3. For some of you, you are using healing and your need to heal as a crutch to avoid living your life. And I'm sorry I have to say it that way, but that's what's coming in. And I feel like for my pile number 3s, you're being called to be honest with yourself and to check in with your vibration. Your vibration is actually going to get a boost as you step out of your comfort zone, as you try new things, as you re-engage yourself with your life. Some of you, the color yellow coming in very strongly. Relationship change. For some of you, this could have been a relationship change that kind of put you in this energy. For others of you, I'm actually getting this now. Okay, I see it. For some of you, not all of you, some of you, with the relationship change here, you want a relationship, you want a connection, you want a family. Doesn't have to be all of those things. You can want a connection, a relationship without the family part. And family is what you make it. So I'm not telling anyone they have to have kids. So because you want that, you've been working on healing, but you've gotten to the point where healing is a crutch that prevents you from going out there and meeting people and putting yourself out there, because there's some fear around that. 1111. Some of you have been seeing 1111. Some of you are a life path 11, life path 22 or 33. Leadership. You're being asked to take control of your life. You're being asked to kind of move back into action. Some of you, sacral, solar plexus, sacral definitely coming in with these two cards here, where it's kind of saying, what do you want and what are you willing to do to get it? How can you put yourself out there and create what you want? You've done the healing, you will continue to do the healing. But it's also time, again, to kind of put yourself back in the game of life, whatever that means for you, because it's going to be different things for different people. And again, this is an invitation to be honest with yourself. Surrender comparisons with other people. Keep your eyes trained on yourself. Focus on your own strengths, attractiveness, and power. Yeah, don't compare yourself to what other people are doing. Don't think that you need to, be at a point where other people are at. Sometimes we especially at this time and age where everything is on social media and we look and everybody's life looks so well put together and so great. We forget that they show what they want us to see. And for some of you, because you're comparing yourself to other people is why you have this idea that you are unfinished or undeserving of something. And pile number 3, if you take anything from this reading, if you're still here, I want you to know that you are deserving of love, success. You are enough. And you are, I don't want to say you're perfect as you are, because none of us are truly perfect, but you are imperfectly perfect as you are, right? There's always room for improvement, but you are already a masterpiece, pile number 3, because you care so much. I wouldn't say that's everybody, but I feel like my pile number 3s are so self-aware that you are great and you're going to continue to get even better, but you also need to allow yourself to be human. Surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. For some of you, working out could be very helpful. For others of you, daily grounding practices, daily meditation, daily mindfulness, going out into nature, checking in with your body. But it feels like a need to re-engage yourself, to reconnect to your body, to kind of put yourself, I don't know, it's kind of like you are so focused on the mind and the spirit that the physical body has kind of been forgotten or a bit unplugged. Pile number 3, sometimes just getting up and working out, walking around, doing some form of stretching as well. I just remembered this pile got extra cards. We have shark, swim away from this situation. Yeah. And for my pile number 3s, it's time to swim away. And it's interesting because we have the Queen of Cups here, and I feel like you are so in tune with your feelings, and again, so self-aware. But it's time to move forward. It's time to just, take a chance, to take more action. And for some of you, again, this was kind of sparked by past relationships, and you do want a connection, a relationship. And it's okay to begin to attract that and to go for that. You don't have to be a finished, perfect product because you will never be. We are always growing and evolving. And we have escapist, come home to yourself. Yeah. Pile number 3, come home to yourself. For some of you, journaling could be very helpful. Kind of getting all those thoughts out, checking in with yourself. And it does feel like healing, or like this self project that you have going on is escapism. It's an excuse. And deep down, I feel like for most of you, you do know that you are craving more, that your soul wants more, that you're ready for more. Let's look at the goddesses we have. Oya with storms, meaningful destruction. Sometimes we have to let things go. For some of you, I don't know why. I'm getting like hearing nature sounds that are based on like thunderstorms would be very helpful. And some of you are ready to walk away from this period of deep healing. And that, again, that does not mean you're not going to work on yourself or improve yourself, but it means that you're going to focus on other things as well. And then we have Shield Maiden Courage, and you have the courage to do this. You just have to tap into it. Some of you have built a wall around yourselves. You know, it's almost like no one can get in. And you're using the excuse of, well, I'm still healing, I'm still working on myself, to keep yourself kind of away, guarded. But you are ready for more. I almost feel with the storms there, it's almost like you're ready to step back in, like fully step back in and kind of be who you are. And that color red, that orange, it keeps coming up. It's like yellowish, orange red for this pile. Root, sacral, solar plexus. Where you are ready to be seen and you are ready to show up exactly as you are. See what we have here. Peace. Brigid goddess, in your sacred name. All right. A light within me, peace is flame. Let's try that again because that was awful. Brigid goddess, in your sacred name. A light within me, peace is flame. But you know what? Brigid is, it makes sense. All that orange red that we're seeing here. Brigid is a sun goddess. Goddess of creativity, sensuality, passion. Some of you need to connect with the goddess Brigid. Sacral, solar plexus as well. And with the 9, it's about kind of turning the page. A lot of 6 and a lot of 9. Some of you are ready to connect to people. For some of you, this is about romance and allowing that in. But in order to allow that in, you're going to have to open up. You're going to have to be a little bit more vulnerable. You're going to have to put some of those shields, those walls down. Because that wall for some of you is so high that nothing can penetrate it. And for some of you, you've kind of been in this energy of like, I'm healing, I'm working on myself, I'm improving myself for years. This isn't like it's been like 2, 3, 6 months. It feels like years, 2 years, 3 years. For some of you, like 5 years. Some of you have been single for a very long time and you are interested in getting to know someone or meeting someone. But it's hard because you keep thinking there's something else to be done. Let's take a look at the self-care for this pile. Meditate. And we have meditate and peace. For me, meditation is kind of coming home to yourself, right? Reconnecting to yourself. And we do have the Queen of Cups there, but I also think that for this pile, it's not about just meditating. It's about kind of taking leadership in your own life and creating what it is that you want. And swimming away, especially with this card here, swim away from the situation, moving away from doing things in a specific way. How can you hold space for healing while at the same time being more spontaneous and going on adventure and trying new things? For some of you, having red roses and pink roses in your altar, if you have an altar, and again, Brigid. For some of you working with Brigid. She keeps coming up lately, and I know that we are going into spring, but she's been coming up a lot lately. All right, pile number 3, that is all I have for you. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the channel. Share the video if you feel it's worth sharing. It would help me out a lot. I am sending you so much love, so many blessings, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye for now.